You've asked me about spirituality and dealing with the East End, and now we want to take this idea a little bit further out of a particular place, but on a more general basis. I've written in some of my books very briefly about what I call the world of the spirit. There is such a world. It contrasts with the world of the body. And because the body is tactile, you can touch it, you can see it, you can hear it, feel it, everybody is happy to accept the world of the body. On the other hand, it is not always easy for people to accept that there is another world called the world of the spirit. The world of the spirit encompasses many different elements. There is the world of the spirit where healing can take place, not only by laying hands on people, as, if you like, with Elijah, Jesus, and so forth, but also in distance healing. People can be healed thousands of miles away by a healer, and it's real and it has have an effect. Now, a lot of people would raise their eyebrows at this and say, well, it's coincidence and it's nonsense and so on. But I've had practical experience of this, and I've met some of the great healers in this country. Certainly when I was trying to help my son, who had sadly been smitten with cancer at the age of 20 and passed away at the age of 21. So I've had reason to inquire into this pattern and to meet some of the great healers in this country. So that's the healing element of the world of the spirit. There is also the question that arises in most religions, certainly in Jewish and Christian and Muslim and other religions, of survival of the individual. If you are a materialist, you say, well, a person falls ill, a person dies, that is the end of the person. Now, religions, with all their problems and all the wars and troubles they've caused, has still something to say on this subject. The Jewish religion did not, until the Pharisees, have any interest in this. In fact, the whole of the Bible, Jewish Bible, says hardly anything about spiritual survival. But this came in 2,000 years ago with the Pharisees, a marvelous group of people, much maligned in the New Testament for particular reasons. And the idea of survival of the human spirit after the death of the body came into Judaism largely through the Pharisees. And you'll see in many of the comments of rabbis round about that time, the ethics of the fathers. This world is but a corridor to the world ahead, and so on. And the only thing you take with you when you die are your good deeds. And various statements like that, which came in through the rabbis. So when Jesus was talking, Jesus, of course, as the Nazarene, as a Jewish man, he was not a Christian. He had no idea about Christianity. He never intended to establish a religion. He was talking in those same terms. And he says in most graphic language, if it's correct, in my Father's house are many mansions. And that is absolutely correct. In his Father's house are many mansions. In other words, there are many grades and levels of existence, of spiritual existence, which is linked to the manner in which a person has behaved here. It's not linked to any theological theory or dogma of any religion. It is linked very simply to the way you have behaved, kindness, the care you've shown in your life here, which is a test and which is a trial. And this is very interesting because this theme runs right through the Kabbalah runs right through Jewish patterns. You find it in the 16th century in the hills of Galilee. You find it above all in the developing Hasidic movement, and at its height with a man like Rabbi Nachman, who lived from 1770 to 1809 or 1810, died before he was 40. And Rabbi Nachman, who has so many thousands of followers today, confirmed this attitude. And he said, beyond here there are levels above levels. And when his followers said to him, but you're leaving us now, he said, I'm not leaving you, but I can no longer advance in this body. And so you have this whole doctrine of, whole idea of spiritual survival running through Jewish, certainly in Indian patterns with reincarnation and so forth, certainly to some extent, to an extent in Buddhist and so forth. So you have therefore the world of the spirit, you have elements in it. I've merely touched upon these. I have had experiences covering some 30 years of spiritual knowledge and experience, and many of them will be mentioned in the book which I hope to write.
What sort of experiences have you had?
Experiences of communications and links with those who have died. As simple as that. Whether it's my son or my wife who passed away 2 3/4 years ago, or whether it's with others. And I've had the privilege of being with perhaps some of the leading mediums in this world. And of course, there again, there has been a notable Jewish contribution in that field as well, which is quite extraordinary.
It's quite a controversial area in traditional or Judaism or Jewish halacha.
Yes, it's bound to be controversial, not merely it's bound to be controversial in any established religion which has a set of dogmas. It's bound to be controversial.
What would you say how would you say it's been beneficial to communicate with that space?
Well, it's given people an enormous amount of comfort. The people I have seen who have been comforted by the knowledge that there is survival of the spirit in some way has been an enormous amount of comfort. It has also provided a tremendous amount of knowledge if people are prepared to look at it.